We wanted to have a toast, and before we do that, Bev, the maid of honor, is going to say a few words. Bev, why don't you get us started?
Okay. I was just going to say that, so I've known Faith for about 8 years, and we were roommates for 5 of those years, and shared a room most of the time. So we've always been really good friends and had a lot of fun together, and I think we were especially close while we were roommates, and we just got along really well and did everything together and had lots of fun. And I remember saying to you at one point, Faith, if only you were a man. And then shortly thereafter, she started dating Jeff. So I'm kind of hoping that she wasn't driven to Jeff. Anyway, I'm really happy for you guys. I'm really happy that you found somebody besides me.
I'm the male version of you.
All right.
Cheers.
So Jeff, you have to live with her for at least 5 years before you passed up, you know, Viv's.
Right.
Pass up her tenure. Right.
Okay, I guess it's my turn. I'm Scott Hanks. I'm Jeff's dad. I guess I've met everybody through the course of the last couple of days. Had a wonderful discussion at dinner with Dick and Kay, Faith's parents, and others that we've had a chance to visit with. I guess in addition to being Jeff's dad, I'm also best man. He was kind enough to ask me to be his best man, and Faith was kind enough not to veto it, and I was very honored to accept it, so thank you, Jeff, for doing that. So, as best man, I am told that my responsibilities are to make a few comments and then offer a toast to the bride and groom, which I will do. But before I do that, I want to tell you that I'm in kind of a unique position as a best man, because I'm also father of the groom. And I'm in a unique position to tell you a little about Jeff that you may not already know. Especially some of the folks on Faith's side of the family. And Faith, the ceremony's over, so I hope this doesn't change it. But Jeff's mom, Nancy, and I always knew very early on that Jeff was very unique. He was a very unique kid. He was a unique baby. And I think the first time we recognized that was Jeff really, as a baby, Jeff never really learned to walk. He just got up one day and started running. He just took off and started running, and as many of us who have known Jeff all these years have recognized, he has really never stopped running ever since. And there were a few other things that Jeff did, and they were so unbelievable that I had to write some down. So forgive me if I use a few notes. Jeff was a fast learner. He was a very quick study, and I recognized that when Jeff turned 6 years old, and it was at Jeff's 6-year-old birthday party that this became very clear. What happened was, Jeff's mom, Nancy, was in the hospital giving birth to Wendy, and it was Jeff's birthday party, and there were a bunch of kids there, and I was in charge of the birthday party. And one of the events that I had scheduled in the birthday party was a peanut hunt. And earlier in the day, I had meticulously hidden peanuts all over the house. And so I started the kids out on the peanut hunt, and the telephone rang. And I ran upstairs, answered the phone, and I came back 5 minutes later, and the peanut hunt was over. And all the kids were sitting on the floor quietly, and in front of Jeff was a pile of peanuts. And not one other kid had a single peanut in front of them. And Jeff had this look on his face, which we have a picture of, and the look on his face said, well, what did you expect? I guess Jeff kind of knew where all the hiding places were. Even when Jeff started school, we recognized that Jeff was somehow different than the other 6-year-olds. Jeff was 11. We knew something was different. And when Jeff was in 2nd grade, he convinced me that he and I could spend more quality time together if I would only drive him to and from school every day. And that really touched me. And then he told me about other boys and girls in school that also needed a ride, and would I take them to and from school, and that touched my heart when he said that. And that's when I realized that he had previously met with the other parents and negotiated carpool fares with the other parents. So you see, Jeff, we knew early on that Jeff had a very entrepreneurial spirit, and we see that today. And he was always fascinated with numbers, anything numerical. And Jeff, you remember this? Once I think it was second grade or third grade, he recorded on paper every minute on the clock for 12 hours.
And crossed them off.
It's 24 hours.
And he crossed them off. Jeff killed a few trees that day. And not surprisingly, Jeff's favorite childhood present, he got this in the fourth grade, he got a birthday present of a bookkeeper's balance book. Jeff absolutely loved that bookkeeper's balance book, and he would spend hours and hours with the balance book. Before long, he learned how to show a positive balance, and he started writing checks to himself. So, exactly, that's right. Exactly, and he would actually go outside and shoot baskets, and after every shot, he would go to his spreadsheet and recalculate his scoring percentage. You know you did that. One Christmas, Jeff was becoming a growing to be a young man at that Christmas, and he was still working on spreadsheets. He was working on the latest spreadsheet, which was a Christmas spreadsheet. And on the left-hand side was a list of names of all of our friends and relatives. And on the right-hand side was a list of proposed Christmas gifts. And I looked at it and I said, Jeff, that's a very generous thing that you want to do, but these things look like they're going to be very expensive, and your friends and relatives aren't going to expect you to spend that much money. And Jeff looked at me like I was crazy, and he said, what are you kidding? This is what he expects to get from each of them. That was the latest. So then what happened next was Faith came along. And it was quite obvious that Jeff was quite taken with this young lady very early on. Nancy and I grew to know Faith, and we grew to love her too. And Faith, we welcome you to our family. We're so happy to have you in our family. Faith is a neat person. She's has a wonderful sense of humor. She's very athletic. She's also an accountant, so she's very good with spreadsheets, which is going to come in handy someday. During Jeff and Faith's courtship, Nancy and I commented many times that there was something very special about this young lady. And that special quality, we finally concluded, was that she makes our son very happy. And by all accounts, Jeff makes Faith quite happy too. A love like that has been defined as a case of temporary insanity, curable only by marriage. And marriage has been defined as when a man and a woman become one. The problem starts, of course, when they try to figure out which one. Ronald Reagan once said that there is no greater happiness for a man than to approach a door at the end of the day, knowing that someone is on the other side of that door waiting for the sound of his footsteps. And Jeff, you will know that, and I know that, and you will know that. As our toast, I would like to offer you a, I guess what is called an old Apache blessing for our toast. And it goes like this. Now you will feel no rain, for each of you will be shelter for the other. Now you will feel no cold, for each of you will be warmth for each other. Now there is no more loneliness, for each of you will be companion to the other. Now you are two persons, but there is only one life before you. Go now to your dwelling place, and begin the days of your life together. May your days together be good and long upon the earth. To Jeff and Faith.
Indeed.
Congratulations, we love you.
Congratulations.